Hey, I'm Toki, and my dad makes the world's best salsa, Tony's Tejas Salsa, and you can hear his story on the Cheers to Business podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Today we're so excited because our guest brought samples, and it's Tony's Tejas Salsa.
Every time.
AKA the world's best salsa.
It's like wine. I'm sorry. I don't mean to do it. And we're really glad to have Cadie back today.
I only came back for this salsa.
That's smart,
Totally
girl.
kidding.
Be kind.
I'm really glad to be back. You know, a growing business, sometimes you've got to
Sacrifice.
All
yeah.
right. So we're going to sit back and we're going to listen to Tony's stories.
Let us dance in your ears.
Stop. It's salsa time.
Oh, yeah. Doom, 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 doom.
Hey, I'm Karen. I'm a former CPA, entrepreneur, business consultant with big ideas, and I'm the mom.
I'm Cadie. I'm a payroll specialist, business owner, and detail-oriented person that makes things happen. And I'm the daughter. Welcome to Cheers to Business.
Today we have Tony Ingram on the show, and your story is so interesting, Tony. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been looking forward to it. You know, you talk business and drink wine, and I'm there.
That's right. And then you had some salsa and some chips.
Now it's a party.
All right. Let me make sure I say it right, because you know I muck up every wine name there is. Tony's
Tejas. Salsa, yes.
Salsa.
Native American for friends, Spanish for Texas, is the epitome of what the salsa is. It's a Texas-style salsa. That's where I grew up as a kid. And my friends and family helped me get this business off the ground.
I tell you what, we can't do anything without the village, that's for sure.
That is for sure.
So did it start just like as a project, like you needed to bring something to a party, and so you made salsa and then?
Well, it started from a business. I was working on a restaurant concept. I was developing the menu and testing it out to see if it was viable. And the salsa was just a salad dressing. I had no intent on selling salsa or making salsa, but I refused to eat that junk in the jar they sell in the store. Or that crap in the cup that you find in the deli. And I said, I can make my own salsa better than this. And I just really channeled what I grew up eating, the freshness, the boldness, the smokiness, and whipped it up.
Now, I read, this made me, my hair is white. So your dream of creating this salsa started the year I graduated high school and you were 7.
Well, yes and no. Because back then, we used to eat in a lot of high-end Mexican restaurants in Houston. And somehow my mom got this little packet of salsa seasoning. And she made salsa at home. I thought it was the best thing ever. I said, oh, my God, you can make salsa at home? And that kind of inspired me to whip up my own kind of stuff. And when I moved back to Alabama, it was really the catalyst. There's no good salsa in Alabama until I started making it. So that's how you get Tony Tejas salsa made in Mobile, Alabama.
I love it. That's kind of like our podcast. So it's hard to find that mix of fun but still informative. And so that's, yeah, exactly.
Plus, your story's so freaking cool. I mean, you were selling popsicles at 6, so you're an entrepreneur.
Yes, by nature. My dad really trained me to run businesses since I was as young as I can remember. I used to sell freeze cups for the people down here. They know what a freeze cup is. I walked around with my little cooler. My folks are from Mount Vernon, and that was when I was staying up there in the summers with my grandma and stuff, and I'd make a bunch of them, walk around and sell them. All the way to when I was out in Phoenix, I used to sell candy at school. And as a teenager, I was a personal assistant for my dad, as he was the president of a company that sold corporate airplane parts.
Did you have a clipboard? Cadie had a clipboard.
I still to this day love clipboards. Like, I remember one time we were walking into a conference and I had like one of the phones with the cover on the front, so you have to like flip it over. And I had my little stylus pen, just walking behind her taking notes. And I don't know. But I enjoy kind of that side of it as far as making sure that everything was covered.
And I needed it. I still need it.
And then I, graduated into kind of my own person.
Yeah.
I guess walking beside you rather than behind you.
Absolutely. It used to be known, they'd go, oh, you're Karen's daughter. Now I'm Katie's mom. So totally get it.
That was one of the biggest things to overcome was,
the stigma of that parent or that somebody. So we're excited today because Tony actually has his daughter in the studio too, Toki. Toki,
Yes.
happy 13th birthday.
Toki.
13th birthday, teenager.
Happy birthday to you. Yay.
Official teenager.
How has the growth been?
The growth has been very interesting because when you're building a brand, especially a food brand, you really have to give something for people to believe in. So on the front end, it was all about getting the name out there, getting the people going. It was very effective. My focus was on driving as many sales through as few places as possible. It is not easy to get into a lot of retailers.
You're in Whole Foods, right?
Well, Whole Foods was a blessing. That really fell in my lap. And I tell people this all the time. You know, being from Lower Alabama, there is no Whole Foods. So I didn't know what Whole Foods was.
We like everything fried.
Right. and so someone said, you need to be in Whole Foods. Your product is perfect for it. So I did the research and I was like, oh, wow. Okay. This is, a big opportunity. And it was so funny. I was so nervous about the presentation. It was at the Pillars, and my buddies over at the Pillars were facilitating it. And I showed up a week early. And I was like, where's everybody? Oh, my God. Am I late? Oh, what am I doing? And checked my email. I was like, oh.
Wrong day.
Whoops. But by the time I made it back for the actual presentation, the nerves were gone. And it went really great. And they were ready to sell it before they tasted it. And they took a bite and they were like, oh, yeah, we'll sell a whole bunch
That
of
is
this.
so cool. But, I noticed when you were talking, everything you said was in the past tense.
Yes.
You said it was about getting the name. It was about this. So what's it about now?
Well, what's it about now is preparing for the future. It really started when I joined the Chamber of Commerce and I took the Emerging Leaders class.
I just graduated this year.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you too.
I'll be at the ceremony, at least Lord willing.
There's an alumni meeting coming up soon.
Oh, that should be fun.
Yeah.
I tell you what, they had a lot of guests. I've been on the panel for the last 30 years since the SBA brought it to Mobile Chamber. So I've got to hear on the backside everybody's stories and presentations. And tell you what, to see the success that program brings of just educating people on how to be in businesses, it's awesome.
Well, as small business owners, we get so caught up in working in the business. And
I am on my laptop right now funding a payroll. I'm
Cadie's
so
doing a payroll.
sorry. I am in the business at this moment. But luckily, side note, keep going.
with this class, they really force you, if you're going to finish, they force you to take the time to step back, educate yourself, and work on your business. Because, the whole purpose is to put together a strategic growth plan, which was good for me because I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what it was going to take. But to get those resources and take that time away, it really shifted my focus because I've always been about drive the sales, grow the brand, drive the sales. We actually set some records for smaller vendors at Whole Foods during that time frame. But it started with that course, finished that, and then it's really been about building infrastructure for getting a lot bigger. I've been, like I said, been bogged down in logistics. I'm a marketing operations guy, people person. That's what I enjoy. I went from in the past, doing cooking segments on CNN and HLN.
There's something called Fit on YouTube too, right?
Yeah.
I saw you on those.
That was the HLN spots I did where I did some cooking segments with my food. With my salsa, making some different stuff with it because this salsa is really versatile. It's
This
not
was
just
shrimp Creole, and I so want to try that.
And it's so good.
Ooh,
It's
I'm
so
hungry
good.
too.
It's amazing what you can do with this stuff. I went from doing that kind of thing to, okay, what do I need to do to go into 3, 4, or 5, times more stores? So that's what I've been working on is logistics and infrastructure, training, hiring, just getting prepared for the next step.
So in that next step, my mind goes to the business part of it, logistics, distribution, mass producing. So that's a lot of details to work out to jump to that next level.
I was talking to some folks over in Atlanta a few weeks ago that are selling hemp water, and we've been dabbling around talking about maybe possibly distributing it. But they were like, you have your hands in every aspect of the business. I was like, yeah, I do. And I was really forced. At the beginning, when I first wrote my business plan, everything was centered around Mrs. Stratton Salads out of Birmingham producing the product. but we could not come to terms on them making it the way I wanted to be made.
And it's got your name on it. It has to be yours.
It did. And I really was on the brink. I was sitting on my sofa in tears like, oh my God, what I'm going to do? They won't make my salsa right. And found the farmer's market downtown and started selling my salsa at the farmer's market. Once again, never had heard of a farmer's market. In restaurants, we don't have Saturdays off.
Right.
and then coach my son's baseball. So all day I was busy and found that as a nice outlet, as an incubator to grow the business, to push sales, do some marketing. I developed the other flavors while I was there because I like spicy. And that was all I was going to put out. That was going to be the...
Well, I'm glad you didn't just put out spicy.
You can thank my mother. That's why her name is
Mama.
on the cup.
Well, Mama, thank you.
Yes, she's a smart lady. She was like, well, you're not making it for yourself. You're making it for other people to sell. You got to make one that's not so spicy.
Thank you, Mama.
And she was right. The other two flavors, actually, the medium is the top seller. I call it the People's Champ, and it's super versatile too. It's the one I cook with the most. And then the mild is really a southeastern thing. It's for the folks who
Weenies, meat like me.
people who like flavor but not heat.
Okay,
is how
I like
describe
that. I like that. I'll take that one.
But so the farmers markets were huge with establishing the brand. It allowed me to learn a lot about making it myself because I didn't want to make salsa. I've worked in restaurants for over 2 decades. I didn't cook but for maybe 2 years as a kitchen manager. I like operating. I'm not a chef by trade. I always tell people, they're like, are you a chef? I was like, only on TV. When I'm on TV, I'm a chef, but every day I don't cook for a living.
I was a CPA and didn't like tax returns.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. It's the different facets of a career that you choose. You love the business. You love what it the rewardingness of it, and you know how to do it. Doesn't mean you necessarily want to do it. Mm-hmm. So what facets of your business are you, as you grow, and I call it mind mapping when I'm teaching people how to be in business, I call it mind mapping. Are you have in the middle what you are, then who you are, why, where, who, and then you get those goals, then you take it to the next level. So as you're moving, what I see in my head right now if I'm talking to you is that you got it established, the farmer's market worked, you're in Whole Foods, and now you're figuring out that bridge to get to the next level.
That's it. And it starts with the backbone. It starts with the manufacturing. The same quality I was making the product with when I was making home is still made with that same quality, the same quality ingredients, the same process. We just making it in a whole lot, a lot more of it. And that's what I've been working on is the procedures and whatnot, how to scale and make 3 times as much sauce as we do now, with it still being amazing. And that's where me and Stratton really went in opposite directions. They want to use a bunch of pre-made stuff and just throw it all together and put a bunch of preservatives. And I was in Pensacola at one of the restaurants that served my salsa, and I ran into a guy who had a company made MRI machines. And he was like, dude, you got something special here. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just going to give up and let them put these preservatives in it. And,
No.
And he was like, don't do it. That you have something special. Don't compromise. And ever since then, I've put all my focus into making it phenomenal and not compromising. It's not easy.
Nothing's easy.
No.
Tony brought samples.
Yes. So I brought the classic 3, the mild, the medium, and the spicy. And then because, you guys were nice enough to invite me to come hang out, I brought y'all some pineapple mango.
Oh, yes.
This child loves mango.
I love. Yes.
Well, this is the next one coming. And I'm surprised you haven't had it if you've had the hummus.
I don't know.
I've been making the pineapple mango.
Well, look, I walked by the table at Market at the Pillars, and of course I had to stop because I was like, they always give samples, which I love.
Hey, how about I throw out to Heather at the Pillars too? If you need a venue, man, these people
They are absolutely wonderful,
Yeah,
great
classic
folks.
events.
They're classy, they're professional. Of course, the Pillars venue is wonderful in itself, and they do weddings, do meetings, you name it. I shoot my my cooking show. I have a little cooking show on YouTube I do, and I shoot it out of there.
Oh,
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah,
that
it's
gets you
World's
in the
Best Salsa TV on YouTube. It's called Cooking with Tony Tejas. I bring my chef buddy who cooks for a living, Mike Bradley, and he develops a bunch of recipes with the salsa because I'm busy doing other things, and we cook 3-4 dishes and put it out there for everybody.
What's going to be, as you grow, it's so hard, but you have to start delegating. So what's going to be the hardest thing for you to let go?
I guess really the sales end of it, because it's so important to drive the sales. And that's what I've always done, being the person that's over that. It's one thing to advertise and to market, but if you're not driving sales directly, it really cuts into your margins, because this business is all about margins and volume.
And when you say sales, do you mean like to be in a store or in a retailer, or like, I guess, direct to consumers?
All of it.
Okay.
Direct to consumers, which is the most important. Seeking out new accounts. I've done quite well with that. We went from being in 65 locations in 18, and I've added another 40 since then.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Well, it was all about setting up to get bigger. I needed to diversify my revenue streams. Whole Foods was almost 85% of my income, which is great. And,
Yeah, but it's also dangerous.
Very dangerous. And this was, at the Amazon buyout time and all of that. And I was hearing all kind of rumors swirling.
All of a sudden, you'd be ruined if they stopped carrying you.
Everything would change. And all that work I put in for 3 years would have been for naught.
So what'd you do so other people can learn?
What I did was I started reaching out to a lot of independent retailers within the territory that I was already covering with Whole Foods, because we went from the one Whole Foods here in Mobile to the 3 in Alabama, and then spread out into Tennessee and over into Atlanta was a big move. It's a big market over there. But so I started talking to independent grocers, people that I could sit down and have conversations with, that I didn't need to supply, 1,000 stores, 500 stores, people that had, 4, 5, 6 stores, and just built up a whole new customer base with that. And it's been nice because it's allowed me to build a brand in a lot of places. Because I'll run into people in like Piggly Wiggly's in Birmingham, and they're like, "Oh, it's you. I buy this stuff at Whole Foods in Atlanta."
The salsa guy.
Yeah. Hey. I'm running into people in Mississippi. I really opened up the Mississippi market. I run into people in Mississippi that are from Birmingham. I ran into a lady in Atlanta that bought some salsa from me at a farmer's market under a bridge in Biloxi. My first year I started.
What are the odds of that?
It blew my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, wow. Because I'm standing there in Whole Foods and, sampling out, doing my little spiel. And they walk up and they're like, "Oh, look, son, it's the salsa. We remember you. We had this." I was like, "No, I just got here like 2 weeks. I don't think you've had this."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "No, not here. In Mississippi. Under a bridge at a farmer's market." It literally is under a bridge. And I was just like,
See, and I remember the first time that I ever discovered you guys. It was 2014 at a farmer's market. Maya and I went, and you were at the corner of Cathedral Square.
The Salsa Bandit.
Right at the corner where the hot dog guy is on a Saturday night. And it was, "Come try the world's best salsa." And I was like, "I like salsa." And it was just, it's great. It really is. So if you haven't tried Tony's salsa and the hummus, which if it's available,
you can only get the hummus at the markets.
Okay.
The next time you'll be able to get it, probably be Market and the Pillars in January, I believe.
Yeah,
All right.
And I don't know when this will
Can we go?
drop. Yeah, I try to go to everyone.
I went
And
to the
that's-
last one. I took Maya. It was awesome.
That's the thing I love is brands like yours. The relationship isn't just the love of the salsa and the hummus or the product. It's the brand, your story, and that's the thing. And there's other vendors at the market, whether it be, Gunkles or Kellerworks, all the barbecue.
Mad Dog.
Deep Fried Studios. Deep Fried Threads. Gosh, we're in the Deep Fried Studios. And it's just all these vendors. And then to see them grow.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're a part of their team. They're cheerleaders.
Oh, you definitely are. I mean, if you don't build that grassroots following, you're not going to expand.
The loyalty, we've done shows on local relationships, but if you don't have your core around you and your foundation, it's not going to work. I don't care how good a product you got.
Would you ever make your own chips to go with your salsa?
Eventually.
Okay.
And that's the big thing about building a brand. What a lot of people don't take into account is Coke was Coke for 50 years before there was a Diet Coke, before there was a Coke Zero and everything else. And the brand is built around your core product. You get it in front of enough people, you make enough people want it, then you can put out whatever you want.
Yeah, because of the association, they're going to buy in.
So my pineapple mango. So what you have there
Pineapple mango.
This is the next one to come because people keep asking for it. I'm not a sweet salsa guy.
It's so good.
Oh, cow.
Yeah, it's special.
I want it on a fish taco.
Yes.
We get to keep these, right?
That's yours.
Oh my
I told
goodness.
you. Salsa claws. I'm in my salsa claws attire.
I'm a snacker. This is just so I'm taking this one back
A double
to
dip.
the office.
Not much.
It's okay.
Wow. By mistake, huh?
Yes, I wanted more.
So you got fresh hand-cut pineapples, mangoes, onions, garlic, cilantro, lime juice, mild chili peppers. And then I get a sweet red jalapeno from a farmer in Baldwin County.
It's so good. It's the full flavor. It's got the whole spectrum.
I'm just holding it in my mouth for a minute. With a Johnny coming in to get some.
This is made for me because most people make pineapple mango salsa. First time I had pineapple mango salsa was my buddy Keith Holford makes it over in Pensacola, the chef, and it was really chunky and really fruity. I'm not a big fruit person, so I said, how can I make this to where I would enjoy it? So it's more savory, it's more bold, it's less fruity, it's less sweet.
And I like the blend level. It's just enough.
And that's the Texas in it. That puree, that thick puree is Texas style salsa.
That is so good.
Now I've got some customers over in Foley. They swear by it and they put it on hot dogs. And I tried it.
I bet it would be good.
Yeah.
Amazing. I couldn't believe it. I was like, pineapple mango sauce on a hot dog?
Yeah.
Delicious.
Well, we put pickle relish.
Same difference.
Yeah, but better.
Yeah.
With 10 times. All right. So on to the Beverly Hills Mild Blend.
Mild.
This is the one you
the
like.
The one you love so much.
This is the one I buy. I think
don't
there's
blame
some
I
in
feel
my
like this is
refrigerator.
the PG version.
It is PG. So each one is a part in the cup, right?
I'm going to try the others, though.
This one is like a soiree. This is, you want to put your formals on, but
See,
delicious.
I want my pajamas on my couch with the fireplace, with a bag
So
of chips
good.
and this stuff.
It's hearty, but without being too chunky.
Because it's fresh. I only use fresh tomatoes. I bring in tons and tons of fresh tomatoes every single month. We blend it fresh every single week. And you can't get that. And that's what my argument has been with other people making it, is they don't want to use the fresh tomato.
It's so sad that they don't want to use.
Well, think about it. If you have a tomato sandwich, do you want one out of the grocery store or you want one off the vine?
Exactly.
How much better is it?
The reason why is the tomato market is extremely volatile. So I have to really pay a lot of attention to the weather, these trade agreements, these tariffs.
It's like grapes and wine.
Exactly. And I was listening to a podcast about the California vendors and some of the steps they're taking to get ahead of the climate change. And I've been doing the same things for the last couple of years, working with a farmer out in North Carolina to start growing me some tomatoes up there, seeing how greenhouses work.
I heard up in northern mid-Alabama, if you buy land and do it for agriculture, there's actually some kind of tax incentives and benefits. And what do you call them when they pay you money back?
Oh,
Rebate?
Rebates?
No, not rebates. They have a word for
what
it.
that means.
Where they pay you.
Subsidized.
Yes, that's it.
It's
All
a
right.
subsidy, yes.
Yes. You could grow your own tomatoes.
That's where government cheese came from, was from a milk subsidy they did back in the 70s.
Really?
Yes, very interesting story, but we're not going to get into that. It's very long.
But you could grow your own tomatoes, and then you could control it.
Like I said, my folks are from Mount Vernon, and I'm convincing my folks to hold on to the land that they're thinking about selling, because eventually I do want to start my own tomato farm. But once again, you have to get one aspect right before you start delving into too many things.
I think that's one of the most frustrating things. Amen.
My whole business was founded with an investment group, so I take a lot of influence from them and funds and whatnot. And I always have to remind them, like, okay, look, it's a good idea. Don't think that I'm dismissing your idea. It's just a matter of when to implement it. It's all about when you roll it out.
Timing is everything.
And things that are transpiring now, people have been talking about for 5 years. And I'm like, see, guys, I'm listening.
Yeah.
But it's all about priorities.
Would you encourage others to do that with an investment group? I mean, how much control? Do you still have the control that you want?
I do, because the way I structured it, that where I'm still the sole owner, is just profit share, that they get a percentage of whatever net profit that we knock down on a quarterly basis. Because that was my whole thing, was when I started crunching the numbers from this and looked at the long game. This is going to be $1 billion business eventually. And I don't need that much money to be happy, and neither does my family. So I really wanted to find a way that I could share the wealth with people that believed in me and helped me develop this and supported me at the beginning of it.
Tell them your website, Tony.
It's Tony's Tejas Salsa.com.
Yeah, I mean, you really believe in giving back to the community and have a section on that. So that's really admirable.
Everything I do is to leave a positive effect on people and community and society, all the way to the way I dispose of scraps. We churn out pounds and pounds of vegetable scraps, and any salsa that doesn't sell, we pull from the shelf and replace it with fresh. So we compost it and we feed it to pigs and put it to good use instead of just making it garbage.
So which flavor do the pigs like best?
All, they're pigs.
I feel like a piggy right now.
I want to try the next one.
Yay.
All right, so this is the next level of heat?
This is the next level. And that's the thing that really separates my salsa from other salsas you find in stores. It's not just a difference in heat. Each one has its own unique characteristics. Because it is fresh and it's fresh tomatoes, you get to taste the different blend of ingredients.
Karen's already drinking her water.
So this is the medium, the People's Champ, the original. This is where it all started. This is the first one I released because my mother told me I couldn't release the spicy.
Your mama sounds like a smart woman.
She really
More
is.
people should listen to their mother.
I learned that in my 20s.
There it is. I love it. She's going to be super dramatic.
I ate half.
Wait for it.
She's not the first one I've seen do that.
Hadn't hit it yet. Flavor's great.
And you see it's a whole different flavor than the mild.
It is different.
This is the one you cook with. This is the one I use on the shows. I've been in love with this barbecue shrimp recipe that I've been putting out. That's great with this. I want a chili cook-off in Huntsville. This was the base. Matter of fact, I'm going to...
Here comes the heat.
Oh, yeah. Just
But
a little
it's not
bite.
bad.
No.
It's just a warmth. It's not like spicy.
My mouth is alive.
Yeah, exactly. I call it dancing on your tongue.
It's doing a little clog dance right now, but it's good. It's good.
Don't be afraid of a good time.
No, I've never been afraid of a good time.
I can tell. So this is my favorite. This is the one I consider salsa perfected.
Toki's shaking her head no.
She doesn't do spicy.
I don't do
she's
spicy
a mild
either.
girl. So this is 7 different chili peppers.
Holy cow.
3 of them grown in Baldwin County.
Am I going to need milk?
Shout out to Ekman Farms and Lanyap Farms.
It's just flavorful. Oh, like
Exactly.
It's going to hit. I'm waiting for it to hit.
It's a crescendo heat, so it's going to build up nice and slow. And then it's going to linger. I call it
so
the slow burn.
interesting.
I can feel it in my nose. Look at Toki.
It's like medicine. It's extremely good for you.
You can breathe.
All right. And
Eat some of
again,
this. We were talking about hot yoga before we started recording. Like, eat some of this, go into hot yoga. Like, you are going to be set for the next 2 weeks.
Flushed.
Flush.
I'm going back to the pineapple mango, but it was delicious.
There you go. Cool you back down. But, you know, we've been talking about this, and we haven't told people where to get it from because I know they're intrigued now. Here locally, you can get it at Greer's. Piggly Wiggly, of course, Whole Foods, my buddy out at Donkey Market if you're in West Mobile, my other buddies over on Old Shell at Food Pack, Virginia Health Food. And I really love local because well before my brand got built to the point to where it was regionally recognized, they gave me the opportunity to sell it in their stores. And that means a lot to me. Even with the local restaurants, Smoking Gringo's food truck. Every time you get a taco, you're eating my salsa.
That's awesome.
1031 Meals.
Aren't they good?
Yeah, I love them. They're my buddies. They're great folks, and they take pride in making good, clean food. You know, they took one bite. It was like, oh yeah, this is going in our plates.
That's so
this
cool.
is real salsa.
So if someone wants to find you online, I'm trying to tag you on Instagram. What is your
Instagram? It's World's Best Salsa. One word.
Got it.
That's Instagram. That's
I follow
Facebook.
already. Yeah.
Twitter is Tejas Salsa, and that's what I miss. I was a big Instagrammer. We got to take a salsa selfie.
Salsa selfie.
Yes, I don't do them very often anymore. They're only for the cool people.
I see a whole marketing campaign around that.
Salsa selfie is definitely making lemonade out of lemons. So I decided to do this festival. I got suckered in by the festival directors, and it's going to be so many people. I love your salsa. It's going to be wonderful. So I made up 1,000 little 3-ounce cups of salsa and little 2-ounce bags of chips. And I was like, I'm going to sell so many of these. It's going to be great. I sold 80. So now I've got like 900 things of salsa that are going bad, within a month. And, I can't sell them in stores. I can't do any of the things that I normally would with it. So I was like, you know what? I am not taking a loss on this. We're going to turn this into a marketing campaign. So I put myself and my 2 reps at the time, the Salsa Bandit. Y'all, some people probably remember him from our appearance on Fox 10, where he was running across the street, stealing salsa. And we gave away salsa. And every time we gave one away, we did a salsa selfie. And people loved it. And I got a big following on Instagram from that.
Moshe over at Pure CBD is doing that with her new store.
Might as well. You got to engage with people. That's the big thing when you start talking about selling consumables. Haven't
you found, though, when you do it about some other people and not about $1, it comes back tenfold?
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, it feels good. Like when you check in at a restaurant or mention another brand or a business, when they, acknowledge that, it makes you feel good.
Well, I didn't get here without help. Yeah. And it's a business that I didn't know a whole lot about, even though I was in food. Food manufacturing and restaurants is not the same thing.
No.
At all. Every aspect of it is different other than the fact that you're dealing with food. And a lot of people helped me along the way. And I learned and I networked. I talked to other little small suppliers like me constantly just to see what kind of stuff they're going through and what kind of changes are going on.
All right. So the takeaways for some of the listeners today, because I know we got to wrap this up pretty soon because we just don't want to stop.
I just want to be able to eat this without worrying about the sound.
Crunch.
Yeah, crunch.
All right. So the person that's in their kitchen right now and they're listening to the podcast and they make the best whatever. They love it. Everybody, I really should tell them 3 good things to do and 3 bad things not to do.
3 good things to do would be do the market research. Your friends, your family, they may love it, but you need a whole lot more of them to sell it. Make sure you know what your end goal is, because that's going to determine how much time and effort you put into selling whatever you make. And also be prepared to do the groundwork. Products don't sell themselves. Social media will only sell you so much. You got to have a good strategy on how you plan on getting it into people's homes. Bad things to do. Don't quit your day job.
You got to eat. That's how I usually say it.
Don't quit your day job because it takes time. You don't want to fold because you can't make it. Don't compromise because you need to have something that's going to differentiate you from anything else. If you're making basically the same product, Campbell's or Nabisco or someone like that, you're not going to make it because they can just buy the national brand for cheaper. And don't listen to the naysayers.
Oh, I love that one.
I was told I can't sell salsa. I was told I was crazy. Why would you give up your lifestyle to do this?
Oh my goodness.
It happens all the time.
Well, because people are trained to be complacent.
Well,
And when they see someone else deciding to do something much grander,
don't
so
judge me
unfortunate.
by your own standards too.
this is true. But that's my advice. It's absolutely wonderful being here. I haven't done this in a while.
I enjoyed
it.
this.
I so enjoyed this, and the simplest was just a bonus. Meeting you is the number one. I tell you what, we're friends for life now. It's a rule.
Perfect.
It's a rule when you come on the show.
I love making new friends.
And again, happy birthday to Tony's daughter, Toki.
Yay,
Happy 13th.
happy birthday, yo.
All right. So, any cheers? Let's see. Cheers to Tony's salsa.
Well, salud.
Yeah.
Well, let's toast with
We'll toast.
salsa.
Oh, it's a salsa
Get the camera.
toast.
Get the camera.
I know mine.
Go for it.
Cheers to the slow burn.
Hello.
Cheers to the pineapple mango, and I can't wait to taste the hummus.
Cheers to you ladies being awesome and continue to do what you're doing. This is great for anybody who's in business.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please be sure to subscribe to Cheers to Business podcast on iTunes or anywhere else that you get your podcast. Visit our Facebook and be sure to give us a like. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to discuss, shoot us an email from the website cheerstobusiness.com.